Good morning all of you. So today we'll be discussing about HTML list. Okay, let me give you some example. You must have seen these types of things like item 1, item 2. It's not exactly item 1, item 2. I'm writing like this, but suppose here copies, pen, pencil, rubber, this type of thing. You must have seen this. Okay, this is known as a list. In our day-to-day life also we make list of items. Okay, this is one type of list you must have seen. Another type of list you must have seen like this: item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. So this is also another type of list. This is one type, this one is another type. Okay, we'll be discussing about these things. What are these lists, how to declare them, what are they called, what are the tags which we use. We'll be discussing all those things. Now we have something known as unordered list or unordered HTML list. Okay, so these types of list where numbering is not done is known as your unordered list. So unordered list that always starts with UL tag. UL stands for unordered list. Okay, then each item, the list item, then we write the list of items. So each list item starts with a LI tag, that is list of items, LI. Okay, so the list of items, they are by default marked as bullets. So this one is the default one. Okay, now let me give you an example. Suppose I want to output like coffee, tea and milk. If this is what I want to design using HTML, so for this much of thing I'll be writing my HTML portion like this. This is my UL unordered list. I will start the unordered list. Then there are 3 items: item 1, item 2, item 3. This is one list item, this is one list item. Similarly, this is another list item. So we will start the first list item, we will be writing the name, then end the tag. Similarly, we will be proceeding with the second list item and the third list item. The list of items we have written. Now I will be closing the ordered list tag, the UL tag I am closing it. So for this much of code, this is my output. I can have as many as list I want, as many as items I want to be included in list. That depends on me. So here I have taken a small example of 3 items only. So by default we get this bullet. Okay, but other types are, one is your disk, okay, circle, square. These are the 4 types which are available. So disk, this is my default one. These bullets, these are disk type. Then circle, square and none. Okay, for circle you will be having a circle like thing and then your list of items. For square you will be having, you can see a small square. Okay, and for none, nothing is marked, no marking is done before the list of items. Now how do I write this? So suppose I want it to be disk type, it's default. So here I have nowhere I have mentioned that what should be the type of bullet mark which I want in my list. So even though I have not mentioned it anywhere, I found that I can see that my output is having the disk type because this one is the default type. Okay, but again the same default type also I can mention it using the style attribute. We write it like this: list style type, then disk. Use the style attribute. This is my property, list style type, and this one is the value. Okay, property and this one is the value. So I'll be adding this thing in the main UL tag itself, not in li, and then my li goes the way I have written here itself. And finally I am closing my UL tag. Okay, so this set of code also will be giving me this output. Okay, so this code gives me this output and this code also gives me the same output. Clear? Similarly, if I want circle or square, so just instead of disk I can write circle, square. So in this output only this bullet mark will change. Okay, so what about none? So none also, let me discuss one example. I can write UL style, same thing, list style type none, and the rest of the portions remain the same thing. Suppose coffee, then tea, it's another item I left over it, I have not mentioned here. Okay, hope now unordered list is clear. Next, moving to your ordered HTML list. So an ordered HTML list, it starts with your OL tag and each list item starts with the li tag, same as here. In the previous section we have discussed that. Okay, so here what happens, the list items are marked ordered list, so some sort of marking is done. Okay, so they are marked with numbers by default. So marking with number is the default thing. Okay, let's discuss an example. We'll start OL. Same example I have taken. so that it will be easier to understand. And finally ending the ordered list tag. Okay, so there is no, everything remains same, only the thing which differs is this OL. In the previous case we were writing UL, but now it's OL. Okay, it's also very easy to remember, ordered list OL, and in previous case it was unordered list, that is why it was UL. Now for ordered list, to make the difference in the numbering system, like usually it is 1 2 3 4, that is by default. Suppose I want to use the Roman numbers or ABCD, so where do I mention it? I can mention it using the type attribute. Okay, so now what does it do? It defines the type of the list item marker. Okay, so I can write it like type equal to 1 or A, capital A, then small a. I can also use your Roman numbers. Okay, so this one is the default. So I will be having my list numbered with 1 2 3 4. So here the list items are numbered in uppercase, like, so here it will be numbered as A, B, C, D, that way. So here it will be in small letters. This will be your Roman numbers, and this is your same Roman numbers but in small letters, lowercase Roman numbers. Okay, so let's discuss one example out of these. So I will be writing OL type equal to 1, and then I will be mentioning my list. Okay, so for this my output will be, it will be tea and milk. This is 1 2. So this is my output and this one is my code. Okay, so now instead of this thing, instead of writing 1 here, I can mention here A or small a or capital Roman number or small number Roman number. Okay, so if I am mentioning capital A, so my output will be T, B, this kind of output will be getting. For small a, similarly we will be having T, milk. So numbering, that only changes, rest of the thing remains same. Suppose first, second, so uppercase Roman letters, T, milk, this will be how I'll be getting my output, and the last case is lowercase Roman number. We can have T, milk. Okay, so this is about your ordered HTML list. Okay, now coming to another type of list, the third type of list, that is our description list. Okay, so now coming to the next type, that is description list. Now what is this? So description list is a list of terms with a description of each item. So list of terms with a description of each item or each term. Okay, so for this we use the DL tag. This defines the description list. Then we use the DT tag, which defines the term or the item name, and then we use the DD tag, which describes each term. Okay, so in previous cases we were using only two tags, that is UL and LI or OL and LI, but here we are using three tags, DL, DT, DD. Okay, now example for this description list is your restaurant menu card. Whenever you are going to big restaurants or hotels, you must have marked that one item name is written. Suppose it's like for example, suppose this is my main heading, chicken items. So under it, suppose I am having butter chicken items or chicken curry, suppose it's written. So we have butter chicken, and just below the butter chicken name some description is written about this item. Similarly, suppose we have chicken 65, then again some description is written below it. Okay, so this type of list is your description list. Okay, now let me give a small example. If I am having DL, so DL means your description list, so hence onwards my description list starts. So I have mentioned my first item name, that is coffee. Now I would like to write a short description, a one-line description about this coffee. So maybe I can write black hot drink. So this finishes my description about this coffee. So one item in the list along with its description is over. Similarly, I can have next item, suppose milk. Okay, so now I will be writing the description about it. I can write white cold drink. Okay, I'm sending the DL tag. So in my output, what will happen? I'll be having coffee, then black hot drink, then next is your next item, that is milk. So the description is white cold drink. Okay, so this one is the term and this one is the description, and this total is my description list. Okay, now can I have nested HTML list? Yes, I can have. List can be nested, so I can have one list within another list. So when the those types of cases are there, we tell it is nested list. Okay, so this is your list inside list, that is a nested list. For example, I am having unordered list. My list item is first coffee, then it is suppose tea. Okay, now under tea, suppose I am having different types of tea. Clear? So just below it I can start another list, that is another unordered list. I can have, this is my suppose black tea, then next item is suppose green tea, suppose lemon tea. Okay, so 3 different types of teas I have mentioned below the name tea. Okay, so I have started this unordered list. I will be now finishing the unordered list. I will be finishing this tag for this opening tag. Okay, now this list I have opened, so I have to close it. So here I am closing it. I can again start with my next item in the list. Okay, then I am closing the UL tag. Okay, so now for this my output will be something like, so since it's unordered list, so no numbering is there. First bullet mark, then second it's T. Now under T I have black tea, green tea, lemon tea, and then here again milk. So this will be my output for this code. Okay, so now do you think this item can contain new list? Can it contain images, links? Yes, it can. Okay, so list items, it's not necessarily that it should be a collection of text only. You can have hyperlinks, you can have images too. Now suppose I want that my list item count is always starting from 1. Suppose I want that no, it should not start from 1. Suppose it should start from 10 or 60 or 80, whatever number you want. Okay, so that counting list can be controlled, that number can be controlled. So next is your control list counting. So by default an ordered list will start counting from 1. For ordered list, count starts at 1. Okay, but if you want to start the counting from a specified number, then I can use the attribute start. How to mention it? Example is I'm taking the old tag, then suppose I want it to start from 50. So I'll be mentioning the old tag itself. I'm using the attribute start and I'm mentioning the value 50. So it will start from 50. Okay. Now these are the list of items which we have. So here what will happen, I'll be having my numbering, but instead of 1 and 2, I'll be having 50 and 51. Okay, so this will be my output. This numbering we are changing using this start attribute. Okay, now there is something known as horizontal list. So HTML list can be styled in many different ways with CSS. So one of the popular ways is to style a list horizontally to create a navigation menu. In web browsers you must have seen we have main options, like here option is there, then the next option is just beside it, then third, then fourth, then fifth. The different options are there. When we click on this, and we get a drop down list of other links which are just below it. Okay, so this type of list is known as horizontal list. Now how to create the horizontal list? How do we create it? We do it using our CSS. So let me give an example. Okay, suppose horizontal list, I want some output like this is home, then goes news, contact and about. So this total is my list. It is there horizontally. Instead of one below the other, now they are in a horizontal line. For this thing, what would be my code? So I'll be mentioning that HTML portion, mention the head tag. Now I'm using the style tag for styling all this. Okay, so I'm using, so this no numbering is done here, so we are using the unordered list. Okay, so unordered list specifications, all the styling and all, we are mentioning it within the style tag. So UL, suppose list style type, so it is none. I am setting some margin, so margin here is 0. Okay, padding is also 0. Your overflow, it is hidden, and the background color. So we can see we are having a background color here. Here of course it is white itself. I can mention any background color which I want. You can use any hash, any I can directly write here red, blue, whatever I want, or any number, hexadecimal number and all. So unordered list, your list description is now over. Okay, so next I have to mention the list items. So I will float them to left side, because here we can see all these are towards left of the screen. Okay, so float is left here. Now this is a code. I will be writing display the block, then we mention the color of the block, whatever the text color we are writing inside the block, then your text alignment, mention the padding 16 pixels suppose, then finishing it over here. Okay, so list item there will be a hover. So hover I can mention the your background color will be any color name. Okay, so here what will happen, whenever you are taking your mouse to the list item, any item you are taking, so its background color will change. Okay, so now I am finishing my style tag. It is ended here. This finishes my head portion. Head tag is now over. So here I left a slash, so we are now, this style tag is closed, head tag is closed. Now next will be now coming to the body tag. So let me just give a heading, suppose menu. Okay, now next I will be mentioning the unordered list, starting the unordered list. Now in the unordered list, whenever we are making a list in horizontal manner, you must have marked that usually those are hyperlinks. So you can create a hyperlink here. This type of example we have not discussed. Okay, so this is what will be visible, and this is the link where it will be going. Finishing the li tag. Similarly, I am mentioning another list item, like it's for news, so let it be news here. Okay, now third one is maybe just about. So these things depend on you, what name you are giving. Okay, now I am finishing my UL tag, close the body tag and close the HTML tag. So what will be the output for this? My output will be, so first I have given a heading menu, so I will be having a heading menu. Let me make it bold for you. With my pen I am making it bold. So after that, here you will be having some navigation bar kind of thing which you have already seen on different kinds of websites. So here suppose home is there, then we are having news, and then we are having about. So these three are my three list items which are now hyperlinks. Okay, So don't be confused that these are something else. These are list items only. Okay. So this much is all about your list. So in this video what we learned is we had used the HTML UL element to define an ordered list. We have used OL element to define an ordered list, UL for unordered list. LI is used to define a list item. DL, DT and DD. These three are used to mention a description list, description term and describe the term in a description list respectively. Okay. We can mention the type like numbering for the different items using the type attribute or using the CSS that is your list style type. Okay, so that much for this video and thank you all.